Welcome to Mama Ruth's house. I'm so glad you stopped in. Today we're going to be making minestrone soup and copycat Olive Garden breadsticks. So we're going to start with the breadsticks because that's going to take the longest. The soup is 3 points if you're doing Weight Watchers plan, 3 points per serving, and it makes 8. And the breadsticks are 4 points each, and they make 12. So we'll get that started first because it's going to take a minute to rise and everything. So we're going to start with 1 cup of milk and a 1/4 cup of butter. Put it in the microwave to heat it up. We only want it just for a bit. You don't want it, if it gets too hot, it'll kill our yeast. So we have to be careful. And I will be using the temperature gauge to see how hot it is. It's supposed to be between 105 and 112, and then it won't kill the yeast. And in my mixer, we have 2 tablespoons of yeast and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And the sugar actually feeds the yeast when you're proofing it. Got to really watch this step, or because if you get it too hot, I'm telling you, it will not work. I've done that before, and when I used to work in the restaurant, I was the one that made all of the homemade cinnamon rolls, and they were the copycat Cinnabon. And then I put my own twist on it, of course, with the cream cheese frosting, and they were delicious. But one time I got my milk a little too hot, and I didn't realize that I didn't measure the temperature, and it killed my yeast, and so my whole batch was bad. If you get it too hot, you can just wait until it cools. So I'm just putting, it's not even hot, so it's good. We're not even there yet. You just want it to be, like I said, about 110 to 112. 110 to 112 degrees is perfect. So we'll get this going. We'll make it, and then we'll put it in the bowl to rise, and then we'll be doing our other stuff, and then we can come back to that. We're going to stir this up a little bit and see how we're doing here. It feels pretty warm, so we may have to let it cool. The butter's not quite melted yet, so I'm just going to stir it up a little bit so we can get that going, melted. I have my KitchenAid stand mixer that I'm going to be using today, and it has the hook is on it for my bread, and so we'll be doing that. But I think I did get this a little too warm. We'll see. Yeah, it's about 120, so we're going to have to wait just a little bit to get it down. Okay, our milk is at about 107, so it's perfect. I'm going to turn it around here so you can see what we're doing. So like I said, we have 2 tablespoons of the yeast and 1 tablespoon of the sugar. We're going to pour that in here. Turn it on. I'm going to put this over there. Get that good and mixed up. you're going to use I'm going to just kind of get it off the edges and just make sure that it got all mixed up. Sometimes your yeast gets a little clumpy in it. I'm using the quick rise yeast. So, but it still takes a minute. You still got to get it in there. And when it's kind of frothy a little bit, that's when we're going to add the other ingredients. This recipe only takes about an hour total, so it's not too bad. All right, I think it's mixed good enough to, got a little bit of the yeast on the thing here, on the mixer. Just gonna do it a little, it says to mix it well. I'm gonna just leave that alone for just a minute or two till it starts getting a little frothy. And then I'll tell you a little bit about our minestrone soup. The minestrone soup is going to be, I'm going to take a cup of onions, a cup of carrots, a cup of celery, 1 zucchini, 3 cloves of garlic, and I have those all chopped up and ready to go so that we can, when we get started on that, we're going to take some olive oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, heat it up, and then we're going to saute our vegetables probably about 15 minutes, just till they're soft. Then we're going to add water, our bouillon, better than bouillon. Whoa, almost spilled it. And some diced tomatoes, a 28-ounce can, and some tomato sauce, 2 kinds of beans. We're going to do navy and red kidney. Oh, and to our olive oil and vegetable mixture, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of oregano. And then once everything starts boiling, you bring it to a boil. Then we're going to put in some pasta. It's the little, I'm going to show you what this looks like, how it's coming along. It's starting to proof a little bit. You can see how it's foaming up a little bit in there. That's what we want. So we want it to be foamy. I don't know. I love the smell of yeast. It reminds me of my grandma. She used to make yeast bread a lot when we were children. And she made these things, and I don't know what the real name is, probably like a cinnamon roll kind of thing. And she called them dum-dums, and I'm not sure why. But she would take the bread dough and she would roll them in about circles this big, and she would dip them in butter, and then she would put cinnamon and sugar and nuts and raisins and roll them up and bake them like a croissant kind of. Oh my gosh, when we were kids, we thought that was amazing. So I don't know what the real, I think they're just like a cinnamon roll kind of thing, but that's what she used to call them. All right, I think we are ready to go to the next step. So what we're going to do is add, I need a cup. We have 3½ cups of all-purpose flour and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I only put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt because we have salted butter. So it calls for a teaspoon, but I figure that's just a little bit too much. I'm going to mix this up just a tad more. So I'm going to add 1 egg to this. Make sure I didn't forget anything. I got the milk, the butter, the yeast, the salt, sugar, the salt, an egg, and the flour. We're good to go. Then we're going to add the flour just a little bit at a time. I am going to turn it off every time because I don't want to get it all up and like have it shoot all over. I've had that happen before. So if you have a mixer like that, if you don't, I didn't have one for many, many years and I made lots of bread in my life. You just mix it with your hand as best you can, with the spoon. And then once it gets too sticky and everything, then you just dump it out onto a work surface with some flour and then start kneading. So you don't have to have this mixer. You can use anything. It'll work fine. So once it's kind of incorporated, then we're going to add another, it's getting there now. So we'll add another spoon of flour. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm saying incorporated. You can see it's getting wet. The dry ingredients are getting wet. So then we just probably have the last bit. We're going to add it in thirds. Oh, and I forgot the most important part. Well, not the most important part, but one of the things that we're going to be adding to our soup is spinach. So I have 10 ounces of washed spinach here we'll add. And you'll see it'll all, when it steams, it gets a lot smaller. So that looks like it's pretty intimidating, but it's not. Okay, that looks good. We're going to add our other cup. See how it's starting to look? It's going to start pulling away from the sides, and that's what we want. Then we're going to turn it out over onto our work surface over here, and I'll show you how that is, and we'll work it. And we're going to cut it into, we're going to knead it, and we're going to put it back in the bowl and cover it with a tea towel. And then we're going to, in about, it said 15 minutes, so we'll put it in it's getting exactly the way we want it. Starting to get mixed enough that it kind of pulls away from the sides of the bowl. And I wish you could smell it. It smells like bread. It's just amazing. When you do it like this, then you don't have to knead it as much by hand. It just makes it a little bit easier. That next speed is pretty crazy. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. It was almost spring-like here, but it was a little bit overcasty off and on. But it was a gorgeous day, and I don't think we're expecting rain. We're in the central California region, and I don't think we're expecting rain finally for a while. All right, I think we're good. So we're going to take this. I got my hands a little floury, so I can so there it looks like this. And we're just going to turn this right out on our work surface, and then I'll bring you down so you could see. My cart has wheels, so I didn't want it to go across the room. So we're just going to knead it until it gets to a nice consistency. I worked today, but we're going to have a busy weekend, so I wanted to get this video shot because it was something that I was really wanting to make for you guys. hopefully you enjoy it. I'm going to take it to work tomorrow and share it with my work family. I told them that they're going to get the benefit. Sometimes my husband and my work family are going to get the benefit of my vlogs. It's pretty good. It's just about ready to put back in there and let it raise a little bit. Okay, we'll let it raise, and then we'll take it back out and cut it into the pieces that we need, the 12 equal parts, to make our breadsticks. Okay. I'm just going to cover it with a tea towel. Put it back in here. Over there. Move this for now. Our vegetables. So when I put my vegetables in here, I am not going to put the garlic until the end. Seems like, for me, garlic tends to get a little bit overcooked when you add it with the rest of the vegetables. And here's our chopped garlic. This recipe is super fast. It only takes maybe 40 minutes for this soup, so it doesn't take long at all. The longest is my pan heating up, probably. Oh, and we're also using frozen green beans. I don't know if I mentioned that. Probably turn it off when we're in the middle, like the 15 minutes intervals, so you don't have to stick around so long and make such a long video. All right, I'm going to add the, carrots. I forgot about the celery. Carrots, celery, onions, zucchini. And I did a cup of each except for the zucchini. I just did one zucchini. So now we're just waiting for this to get nice, and about 15 minutes probably is my take on that. My daughter gave me this recipe, and of course, I can't leave a recipe alone. I added to it and made it my own. I'm going to add just a little bit of pepper a little bit later. I just want to coat the vegetables a little bit. Let me see what those look like now. This is a very yummy soup. When our breadsticks, our dough is ready and for us to cut it apart and make our breadsticks, then we will just put it back in we'll put it in the 400-degree oven, and it only has to be in there not very long at all. It's 10 to 12 minutes, so not long. So I'll bring you back when this is ready to do the next step. All right, well, it's looking real good. I went ahead and added our green beans. And then I'm going to now add our garlic. And you can use less or more garlic. I really like garlic, so I added I did 3 large cloves, and you could do 3 smaller cloves. It smells so good already. Then we're going to add our Better Than Bouillon. and our oregano and our 4 cups of water. We're going to bring that to a boil. And then we'll add our pasta. It's these little pastas. And I am going to add just a little bit of pepper. Probably right there, just a little bit. Maybe a quarter of a teaspoon is what I'm going to add. So we're waiting for this to get boiling, and then we'll do our next step. So let it boil here. So while we're waiting for this, it smells so good. So while we're waiting for that to boil, we're going to go ahead and take and that's exactly what we wanted it to do. So I'm going to knead it just a little bit more. And it calls for parchment paper, or I'm using a mat, and so we don't have to put any oil on it. Okay, so we're going to cut this in half. And then I'm going to do half again. And then I'm going to cut these in 4 pieces. 3, 6, 9, 12. 3 pieces, excuse me. Because we're doing 12. So you're just trying to, the best you can, get them the same size. Now, I'm going to put these kind of off to the edge. Hopefully they don't fall. That would be not good, huh? I'm going to get my pan that we prepared. And I'm just going to roll these. Excuse me. So we're just going to make them like breadsticks and put them on our pan. I feel like I'm always playing with Play-Doh. So while this is doing this, this is almost ready. It's just about ready to boil, to add our pasta. I'm going to go ahead and add my tomatoes so that it boils as well. So we're adding 28-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes, and we're going to add, I think it's 8 ounces of tomato sauce. Would like that to get to boiling before I add my pasta. Otherwise, you're going to have just a big clump of pasta, and it's not going to. It looks really good. Got a few more here to do while we're waiting for that. Just kind of want to make them as even as possible. When they cook, they'll be fine. And you want to cool these. You can actually put the breadsticks in the freezer. So what you can do is cool them really good because you don't want them to be any moisture in there. And cool them and then wrap them in cellophane, each one individually. And then you wrap it in foil and then you put those in a Ziploc bag, a freezer bag, and then you can freeze those. They freeze well up to 3 months. That last one here. I'm not going to put them in the oven right yet because they only take 10 to 12 minutes. So I kind of want them done at the same time. So this is actually one breadstick with the butter and everything, and one breadstick and 1 serving of your soup is 7 points. I'm going to put this away, give it a little stir here. Once it's at its boiling, then we'll add the pasta and then I'll come back. I think I'm going to put my tea towel back on this. That way I don't want them drying out or anything. I don't think I ever had minestrone soup as a child. My mom didn't really make a lot of soups. My dad was like a meat and potatoes kind of guy. He didn't really care for soups or pasta or anything like that, so we didn't really eat that a lot when we were children. But we were sure missing a lot because these are delicious. So after we put the pasta in for about 15 minutes, then we will put the beans and our spinach, and it would only take a few minutes after that. It just has to heat through and wilt the spinach, and we'll be ready to serve it. I'm going to go ahead and stop this because you'll know it's boiling, and then I'll put the pasta in, and then I'll bring you back when it's ready to put the next ingredients. Welcome back. All right, we're going to add the beans. Stir that up a little bit, and then I'm going to add the spinach, and I'm going to put the lid on it for just a little bit till it wilts. And while that's wilting, we're going to put our breadsticks in the oven. We'll put those right now before we do that. So you can see they kind of raised a little bit more. And put those in there. I'm going to put a timer on. We'll start looking at them at 10 minutes. Just in case we don't want them to get overcooked. All right. Now we're going to put our spinach. It looks a little crazy, but it'll go down. Water leaked from my spinach. Just cover that up, and it'll wilt. Trying to clean up a little bit as I go so it's not such a mess. Getting my plates ready, and then get my brush ready for when we put the butter. So we're going to take a 1/4 cup of butter. We're going to melt it in the microwave and add some garlic and some salt, and then we're going to brush that over the top of our hot breadsticks when they come out. I might stir this just a tad just to get the spinach down in there. You can see already how much it's wilting. smells so good. Our breadsticks, we want them just to be a little bit golden brown when we take them out. So when I take them to work tomorrow, I'm just going to cool them tonight, and then I'll put them in a Ziploc bag. And then tomorrow we have a toaster oven. I'll put them in the toaster oven for about 5 minutes. And then it says you can brush a little bit more of your butter, garlic. I won't on mine because I'm counting it. But if the ladies want it, then I'll do that for them. I hope you enjoy these videos. I'm trying to make different kinds of foods and not the same sort of things. I am going to be making a 0-point pasta pretty soon. So have a couple of things. I think I have it over here. Let me show you what it looks like. I don't know if any one of you have had this. It is delicious, and you can, I'm going to do one with the Asian style and then one with the pasta, like maybe a ground turkey pasta. And stir this up a little bit. Just got to heat it all through now. That's really looking good, huh? I love how colorful it is, and it's so healthy for us. All these vegetables and it's perfect timing though. We can wait for our, sorry about that, I had that on. We can wait for our breadsticks and then be cooking this at the same time. I am a little bummed about our Weight Watcher meeting. It's canceling in our area. So now I'm just going to be going a little bit further, probably about 31 to 35 miles away on Saturdays. But it's only 4 times a month, and I'd rather do that than not go because I need that accountability. I feel like that I'm being held accountable by you guys. I don't want to let you down either as far as during my weight loss journey. Today is Thursday, and I will be going to Weight Watchers on Saturday morning. So it's been almost a week since I went. We'll see. We'll see how well I did. I feel I followed everything, and I counted everything, so I'm sure I did okay. You never know till you get there.
Hey, what's up? Oh, yeah?
I turned it off. Okay, well, everything is just about ready. This soup looks amazing, smells amazing. The breadsticks are just about ready. I'm going to go ahead and heat up the butter so that we can spread it on the breadsticks. They only got a little bit longer. We're going to go ahead and put our garlic powder. And a little bit of salt in there so that's on our going to stir that up. And this is what we're going to brush on our breadsticks. I can plate some of our soup though, so that way it's cooling down so we can taste it. So this makes 8 servings, so good size servings. We're going to garnish them with a little bit of parsley that I cut up and some Parmesan cheese. So it looks like this. And then I'm going to get these breadsticks out. See how good they look? They smell so good. And I'm going to put we're going to, our little brush, and brush the garlic butter on them. They smell delicious. All right, I'm going to put this away and put one of these on there. They're not the prettiest, but you know they are going to be yummy. So we'll try that out. I have a little tiny kitchen. But it's always serving up with love, cooking with love in my kitchen. All right, I'm gonna bring it up so you could see it. Oh, it's a little hot on the bottom though. Let's try it. Again, as always, I want to thank you for joining, and I hope you like this recipe and make it. And if you do make it, let me know in the comments what you think. Mm. Mm. Yummy. Taste that breadstick. Very good. I just want to say, until next time, make a fantastic day. Thank you.